Hello, this is Brian. Hey, last class on Wednesday, I had some technical difficulties, so I couldn't get you the whole video of the corrections. So real quick, I'm going to give you an update of the same corrections for you to have for your own benefit. We'll start with May. Hey Jung, you said that you were a designer for the website. A lot of times we actually say the too often when you don't need to. You can just say you were a website designer. Next, you said, I try to write the article every week. You can also say, I try to write an article every week. Once again, you don't have to say the, so you can say, I try to write an article every week, or I try to write a weekly article. Weekly meaning every week. And also, you said the Oracle of the CEO. I think you meant to say the CEO of Oracle. And then you said high money earning, which you don't have to say high money earning. You can just say high earning, and it has the same meaning. And then last you said you had thoughted, which actually you can just say you had thought. Okay. Next, Sam, you said to I learn English. I think you were speaking a little bit fast and you meant to say for me to learn English, or for me to study English or practice English. Then you said you wanted to breathe the air when you were talking about going outside. I think actually the best way to say that is to get a breath of fresh air, or to get some fresh air. When you're trying to get some fresh air, that's the same meaning as trying to breathe the air. Also, you said your client is from the Scotland. The Scotland, or the is not necessary. You can say your client is from Scotland, or you can actually say your client is Scottish. And last, you said extraordinary. The pronunciation is okay for extraordinary, but it's really pronounced extraordinary, almost like there's no A. So extraordinary. Next we have Yuki-han, or John. John, you said you never worked overseas task, which is, when you communicate it, it still makes sense. However, you can say I never worked overseas, or I never had a job overseas. Task is not really like a profession or a job. Usually a task is something that has one specific goal or agenda, or maybe like a small job. Next, you said I prepare the MBA. I know you were talking about you are preparing to take an MBA course, so you should say I am preparing for an MBA program, I'm preparing for the MBA, or I'm preparing to take an MBA course. Then you said you wanted to build a nice network with your baseball team. Build a nice network is okay to say. You can also say, to make it much easier, you can say you want to network with your team members. Or it is good for team building or networking. You can say I am there for networking, or it's good to network with them. You also said, when you were talking about paying equally or giving a raise equally, you said allocate equally raising. I understand what you were saying. However, it's easier to say to give an equal raise. You can say allocate, but a lot of times when you're trying to allocate, sometimes you're trying to find the resource or the source of that material or money that you're trying to allocate, meaning you're trying to find it and give it. So it's actually better to say give and equal raise. Rachel, Soo-young, you said, let's see, you were talking about the ship. You said someday the weather is very bad. An easier way to say that is someday or one day there was bad weather that caused a disaster, or you can say one day there was a disaster because of bad weather. And then you said the ship is sink. Actually, the correct way to say it is the ship sank because it was in the past. And you said if I like some job and have the passion of the work, you were talking about if you like your job and are passionate about it, you can say if I like my job and if I'm passionate about the work. Passion of the work is actually not smooth sounding. So passionate of the work, or I'm sorry, passionate about the work. Last, Ted, you said you play basketball. You don't need to say just play basketball. Then you said, my body condition can't support my passion, meaning your age or your shape. So you can say, I thought about this, there's a few things you can say. I'm out of shape is a very common expression that people say when they talk about they can't play sports anymore. Or you can say, I'm getting old. People say that too. Not that you're old, you're not old. And you can also say, my body isn't what it used to be. A lot of people say that for when they feel like they can't play sports anymore. Also, you were talking about the Samsung strategy will overwhelming Apple, but you don't need to say overwhelming with ing. You can say will overwhelm Apple. And then you said impressed by your braveness. Impressed by your braveness is okay, but usually we say courage or bravery. So impressed by your bravery or impressed by your courage or courageous action. And that's all of the corrections I have. Thank you very much for your time.